Hi everybody, my name is Rochelle, if we haven't already met virtually or otherwise, and I'd like to invite you to come to the After Trauma Workshop. Now, the yoga practice can be really beneficial as we're going through our process of healing our trauma, but it can also bring up a lot of stuff, right? Our traumas and our stresses are stored in our body, which makes the yoga practice the prime space to start to work some of those things out, but it will bring up things as well. So we're going to talk about a little bit about how trauma affects our bodies and our nervous systems and our brains. And we're also going to talk about ways that we can start to adapt our practice to suit ourselves, to soothe ourselves. So we're going to use one posture today, that is child's pose, and we're going to find ways that we might adapt it to feel good to our body, right? So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to bring this blanket underneath my knees because it's going to be a bit more comfortable with it there. Right, and then often we do this child's pose with the chin in and the head on the floor. And that can actually feel a bit vulnerable. So this might not be your shape, right? Another way that you might adapt this is by bringing this blanket or a heavier blanket to the low back. Right? And sometimes that can create that little extra comfort or that feeling of safety that is required. Right? Now, maybe that doesn't work either. Maybe it still feels just a bit vulnerable. You can lift your head up, bring your hands and your elbows off the floor. Well, your hands will stay on the floor. Your elbows will lift off the floor, right? And keep your head up, right? So you can look around, right? And then, sometimes we're in these classes where we have to sit in a posture a little bit longer and that feels uncomfortable. Right? You might do some subtle movements with the head, right? Maybe circling around like this. Right? A way to kind of keep your mind a bit occupied. And if still you need a little bit more movement, you can come higher and do a few cat and cows, right? So rounding and flexing through the spine. Right? So in all of our practices, really what I invite you to do is exactly what it is that you need. Right? So when we come to the After Trauma Workshop, you can bring some questions that you have about your practice, some postures that you're like, oh, that feels a little bit weird, right? And we can start to work out the ways that we can make this practice our own and make it a space where we can start to heal. All right, I hope to see you there. Take care.